Monsieur le Premier ministre, cher Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, in your titles and ranks. Prime Minister, thank you for being in Paris today, and allow me to express a warm welcome and tell you how pleased we are to receive you. First of all, because this is your first visit, and you've chosen France on the occasion of your first visit abroad. It is an immense honor, and it also shows the importance of all the challenges we are facing. And on a personal touch, please allow me to wish you a happy birthday, belated birthday. As you recalled forcefully, when you took office, you said it. France, through its culture, its art de vivre, its language, is an irreducible part of the Canadian identity, just like the First Peoples and the British heritage. And we're proud of it, and we're proud of this history. We're proud to have you as an ally in every battle. On the occasion of the 18th anniversary of D-Day, Normandy, we pay tribute to the courage, the outstanding abnegation of a generation of Canadians who came to fight here in France, like their elders on Vimy Ridge, for a certain idea of freedom. And this generation continues to inspire us, and Canada for us is a unique friend. First, since the beginning of the war of aggression launched by Russia against Ukraine, your country has been standing side by side with Europe and France, and we had a video conference recently with our British friends and others on Saturday morning. This joint commitment, siding with the Ukrainians, has always had for a purpose to achieve a solid and lasting peace, with guarantees, robust guarantees that will protect Ukraine from another Russian aggression and will enable to ensure the security of the whole of Europe. France and Canada are powers of peace that will take part to this effort jointly. It is in this spirit that we will continue to maintain our support to Ukraine and continue to demand some clear commitments from Russia. We will take useful initiatives to move forward jointly with our American, European and international partners, and of course we will be discussing this matter with the Prime Minister in a few minutes. In the current international context, we also want to develop our most strategic projects with our closest and most loyal partners, because I believe we share the same conviction. We are stronger together, in a better position to guarantee compliance with our interests and the full exercise of our sovereignty. We have to be ambitious when it comes to defense and security, but also beyond, for the purpose of ecological transition, for developing new technologies and for strengthening our bonds as much as necessary. We already achieved some initial successes, and the recent announcement of a consortium that includes some French companies for the first step of a project of high-speed train between Quebec and Toronto is proof of this. I also note that your companies and investors were very much in attendance when we organized the Summit on Artificial Intelligence. And our companies are also discussing reciprocal investments in the field of critical metals, which are an essential building block for the energy transition. I'm also aware that you have a new ambition in terms of nuclear energy, which is the subject of historic cooperation between our two countries. Our companies, as well, when it comes to quantum physics, have a unique expertise that will be exploited to the full. And after the recent artificial intelligence summit I just mentioned, we will continue to be at the forefront of the international mobilization. Given that France and Canada launched together some initiatives in 2018 in Charlevoix and in Biarritz. We will also continue to make sure that our friendship is useful to promoting our values and joint commitments to defend our democracies, to defend international solidarity, development, fair trade, and as well protection of the planet. I believe, as a matter of fact, that both of us believe that fair trade, trade that complies with international rules, is good for the prosperity of all, and it is certainly more efficient than tariffs, which only bring inflation and damage production chains and the integration of our economies. We too believe that the freedom of speech, which is so dear to our countries, is different from hatred and harassment online, or or hidden algorithm. This is the reason why your presidency of the G7 in 2025 should enable us to assert our determination to move forward on all of these topics and together to defend an international order that is fair, which is nothing like isolationism or the law of the strongest. In all of that, the most important thing is still our human bonds, which are both close-knit and warm. French people, Mr. Prime Minister, love Canada. We stand united by Francophonie, and my thoughts go to Antonine Maillet, whose voice died out a short while ago, but whose timeless work, infectious joy, and the eternal Acadie remain and contribute to Canada's influence. Mr. Prime Minister, dear Mark, as you understood, here we're welcoming a friend, and we're receiving you with a lot of joy, with a lot of ambition, and many projects together. And given that we've known each other for many years, I also know that we are receiving a man who loves his country, who is committed to his country, and well aware that what can be a good friend on the international scene and build a fructuous partnership while defending one's country. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. To begin with, I'd like to say that Canadians love France, and this is the reason of my visit on the occasion of this first official visit abroad as a Prime Minister. Thank you for having me. This visit is a symbol of our history, our joint history, but most importantly, a promising symbol for the future. I've just seen the meeting of past and future in a striking way when I visited Notre Dame this morning. I just arrived from Notre Dame that was saved from the flames by France for the great happiness of humanity. Well done, Mr. President. You've always been a man of action, always a man of action. And in the midst of a crisis, one must act. And unfortunately, we are in the middle of an economic and geopolitical crisis. But when you take action, you have to have values: sovereignty, solidarity, dynamism, and sustainability. These values are close to our hearts. They unite us. The history of Canada has always been linked to that of France. The French language defines Canada's identity and culture. Canada and France have been reliable allies for centuries. We believe in the importance of nature and its protection, including the oceans. We know that it is economic collaboration, not confrontation, that enables us to build stronger economies. In the past, this collaboration was by travelers, whereas now it's by networks of artificial intelligence, digital economy, and quantum physics. And Canada stands ready for these opportunities.
And security, demonstrated by our unwavering support for Ukraine under your leadership.
Today, we see that these principles are being rejected by more and more governments around the world. Accordingly, it is more important than ever for Canada to strengthen its bonds with our reliable allies, like France. We must strengthen our cooperation in order to guarantee our security, that of our allies, as well as that of the entire world. We must strengthen our diplomatic bonds in order to face together this world which is becoming ever more unstable and dangerous. And we need to create more opportunities for our companies, good jobs for our workers, and wealth for both our countries.
I want to ensure that France and the whole of Europe works enthusiastically with Canada, the most European of non-European countries, determined like you to maintain the most positive possible relations with the United States. Canada is a reliable, trustworthy, and strong partner of France, which shares our values and lives them through action during this age of economic and geopolitical crises. Le Canada est fort.
Canada is strong. Together we'll be even stronger. Mr. President, thank you for inviting me. And let me tell you once again in our common language that Canada will always be there to guarantee the security of Europe, to promote a prosperous trade for our peoples, to cooperate for peace, sustainable development, and universal rights, together with France around the world. I'm looking forward to having lunch, this working lunch with you. Thank you, dear Emmanuel. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.